Imagine standing at the crossroads of right and wrong, knowing that what you believe is true, yet the world around you insists on a different path. It's a familiar struggle, one that many of us face in our personal lives, and it's a battle that echoes through history. Today, we honor one of the greatest figures in the fight for justice and moral integrity, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On January 19th, we celebrate his legacy, a man who stood unwavering in his belief for equality, even when it was the hardest thing to do. His courage in the face of adversity teaches us a powerful lesson. Standing for what is right often requires moral courage, especially when public opinion pushes against us. But what if I told you that this type of courage is something we can all embody in our everyday lives? What if I told you that Stoicism, a philosophy that has shaped minds for over 2,000 years, offers us a timeless guide on how to act with virtue, even when it's not the popular thing to do? In a world that often chooses comfort over courage, where conformity is easier than standing out, the Stoic teachings remind us that true virtue is not determined by approval, but by acting according to what is right. Today, we'll dive into how you can cultivate this strength, just as King did, and why Stoic wisdom is a critical ally when standing for virtue in a world that often resists it. So, as we reflect on Dr. King's life and his unwavering commitment to justice, ask yourself this: are you living your life in alignment with your core values, even when it's uncomfortable? Are you ready to stand for what is right, even when it's unpopular? Stay with me as we explore how Stoicism can help you navigate these difficult choices and become a force for good, no matter the pressure around you. If you're ready to challenge the status quo and live with integrity, hit that subscribe button. Let's embark on this journey of virtue together. And if you know someone who needs this message, don't hesitate to share it, because the world needs more people who stand up for what is right, even when it's hard. Don't go anywhere. The best part of this journey is just beginning. Let's dive deeper into how we can make Stoic virtue a part of our daily lives, just like Martin Luther King Jr. did, even when the world around us is trying to pull us in the opposite direction. Let's begin by grounding ourselves in some ancient wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This simple yet profound quote captures the essence of what it means to live with integrity. In a world that often values popularity over principle, where the pressure to conform is everywhere, these words remind us that our actions and our words must align with truth and virtue, no matter how unpopular they may be. Think about it. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with opinions, trends, and expectations that often lead us away from what we know to be right. Whether it's the pressure to follow the crowd or to say what's expected, Marcus Aurelius urges us to hold steady. If something isn't right, don't do it. If it isn't true, don't say it. Simple, yet challenging. So, how does this apply to your life? Maybe you're facing a decision at work or in your social circle where you know that doing the right thing might cause friction. Maybe standing up for what's right will make you unpopular, but it will also keep you true to your values. Or perhaps you found yourself agreeing with something you don't truly believe, just to fit in or avoid conflict. This quote challenges us to not only think about what's right, but to act on it, even when the consequences may not be what we expect. It pushes us to stop and reflect before making decisions. Are our actions truly aligned with our principles? Are we speaking our truth, or are we just echoing the opinions of those around us? As you let this quote sink in, think about your own life. Are there moments where you've compromised on doing what is right just to avoid conflict or to gain approval? Or maybe you've stayed silent when you should have spoken up. Now, imagine the strength you could cultivate if you made it a rule to live by Marcus Aurelius' words every day, to do only what is right, and to speak only what is true. If this resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on how this Stoic teaching can guide your actions moving forward. Let's keep this quote in mind as we continue our journey into standing for a virtue, even when it's unpopular. Now, let us take a moment to reflect deeply on Marcus Aurelius' words and the challenge they present. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. These words aren't just a call for moral clarity. They're an invitation to live with integrity, even when doing so might cost us something. And in today's world, that cost can often feel significant. Think about the pressure we face to conform in our daily lives, whether it is at work, in our relationships, or on social media. We're constantly bombarded with messages that tell us to take the easy route, to go along with the crowd, to say what will make us liked or respected. It's all around us, the temptation to compromise our beliefs, to stay silent when we should speak out, or to act in ways that don't align with our values. But here's the thing, Stoicism doesn't promise an easy life. In fact, it challenges us to face discomfort, to take a stand for what's right, even when the whole world seems to be moving in the opposite direction. Marcus Aurelius, in his time as emperor, had to navigate immense pressures. He was surrounded by sycophants, by people whose loyalty was often to power rather than truth. And yet, he consistently turned inward, holding himself accountable to a higher standard, one based on virtue, not popularity. This is where the real teaching comes in. Stoicism asks us to act with virtue regardless of external approval. It's about choosing to do what's right, even when we know it might be uncomfortable, inconvenient, or unpopular. This doesn't mean being stubborn for the sake of it. It means aligning your actions with your inner values, no matter the consequences. The Stoics knew that it's not the outcome we control, but how we choose to respond to the world around us. Take a moment to think about your own life. Are there areas where you've compromised your values in order to avoid conflict or gain approval? Maybe you stayed quiet when you knew something wasn't right. Or maybe you've gone along with a decision at work or in a friendship because it was easier than speaking up. This is where the beauty of Stoic wisdom lies. We don't have to wait for a big, dramatic moment to practice virtue. It's in the small, everyday decisions. When we choose to do what's right even when no one is watching. When we speak the truth, even when it might be uncomfortable. That is where we build the strength of character that the Stoics valued so much. So ask yourself, where in your life can you take a stand for virtue today? Is there a conversation you've been avoiding? A decision you know is difficult but right? A situation where your integrity is being tested? Remember, it is not about being perfect. It is about the courage to align your actions with your beliefs, even when the pressure to conform is strong. That's the essence of moral courage, and it's a practice we can all cultivate, no matter what the world around us is doing. If you're finding this challenging, that's okay. It's normal to feel discomfort when we begin to question our actions. But don't shy away from it. Lean into it. This is how you grow. This is how you build strength, clarity, and the kind of character that stands the test of time. So, I encourage you to reflect. What will you do today to ensure your actions align with your values? What small, everyday steps can you take to practice living with integrity, regardless of the approval or disapproval of others? Let's commit to doing what's right, even when it's not popular. Let's stand for virtue, just like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did, and let the Stoic wisdom of Marcus Aurelius be our guide. Now, let us dive deeper into how we can make this Stoic wisdom a practical part of our lives. It is one thing to understand that we should do what is right and speak the truth, but how do we actually apply that in our daily actions? How do we embody this courage in the face of social pressures, expectations, and even fear of rejection? To start, let's take a closer look at the core concept of virtue in Stoicism. For the Stoics, virtue wasn't just about moral righteousness. It was the foundation of living a good life. Virtue is the pursuit of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, all of which guide our actions. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus all emphasize that living virtuously is not about following the crowd, but about choosing what is true and right, no matter the external circumstances. Wisdom, choosing right over popularity. First, wisdom. Wisdom, according to the Stoics, is the ability to see things clearly, to understand what is truly important, and to make decisions based on that understanding. It's about knowing that external validation doesn't define your worth, and that your inner values should guide you in making choices in a world where social media, validation, likes, and followers can define success. Stoicism asks us to step back and ask, what do I believe to be right, regardless of what others think? Take this moment to reflect. Are you letting the opinions of others dictate your choices? In situations where you're faced with a decision, whether at work, in friendships, or even in online interactions, pause and ask yourself, what's the right thing to do here? What aligns with my values, even if it's unpopular? The more you practice this, the clearer the path will become. 2. Courage, standing firm, even when it's hard. Next, courage. It takes a great deal of courage to act on wisdom, especially when it goes against the grain. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. exemplified this kind of courage throughout his life. He stood firm in his belief that all people should be treated equally, despite the tremendous backlash he faced. This was a man who risked his life for a cause he knew to be true. And while we may not face the same level of adversity as Dr. King did, we still encounter moments where our courage is tested. Think of the times in your life when doing what's right required you to stand alone, or to take a stance against a popular opinion. It's not easy, but remember, Stoicism teaches us that true courage isn't about being fearless. It is about acting in spite of fear. It is about standing for what is right even when the world tells you to do otherwise. Ask yourself, when was the last time you acted with courage, regardless of the consequences? It might have been saying no when everyone else said yes, or standing up for a friend when others remained silent. Courage is built by these small acts of integrity, and the more you practice, the stronger your resolve becomes. 3. Justice, acting for the greater good. Now, let's talk about justice. Justice isn't just about fairness in the legal sense. It's about acting in a way that benefits others, especially when it's not easy. In our personal lives, justice means standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves, advocating for what's right even when the majority is against you. Consider Dr. King's unwavering commitment to civil rights, or even smaller acts of justice in your own life. When you see someone being treated unfairly, or when you know something isn't right, do you speak up? Do you take action? Justice isn't passive. It's a proactive stance toward fairness, equity, and compassion. To live justly, you have to ask, what can I do in this situation that benefits others and serves a greater good? It might be as simple as helping someone in need or as bold as advocating for systemic change. But no matter the scale, the Stoic principle is clear. Live justly, with a deep awareness of how your actions impact others. For temperance, practicing self-control. Lastly, temperance. In Stoic terms, temperance is about self-control, especially when it comes to our impulses and desires. In a world full of distractions, from consumerism to instant gratification, it is easy to get swept up in what feels good in the moment. But Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in restraint. It's about choosing what's right over what's easy. This doesn't mean denying yourself pleasure or avoiding enjoyment, but it means practicing moderation. Whether it's in your spending habits, eating, drinking, or emotional reactions, temperance invites us to take control of our impulses and act according to what is best for us in the long run. In your own life, where can you practice more self-control? Maybe it's resisting the urge to lash out in anger when you're upset, or avoiding the temptation to follow the crowd even when you know it goes against your values. Every time you choose temperance, you build your character. The more you practice it, the more it becomes second nature. Bringing it all together, when we combine these four virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, we have a recipe for standing firm in our values, no matter the pressure. These virtues aren't just abstract ideas. They're tools we can use every single day to act with integrity and purpose. So let's bring this back to the real world. Think about the decisions you face today. The next time you are confronted with a situation where doing what is right is unpopular or difficult, remember these Stoic principles. Reflect on what's wise. Have the courage to act. Ensure your actions are just. And practice temperance when your emotions or desires threaten to pull you off course. Here's the challenge for today. Take one small action that aligns with virtue, even if it feels uncomfortable. Maybe it's speaking up when others are staying quiet, or making a decision based on what's true rather than what's popular. Start with something small. Each step toward living with virtue will bring you closer to becoming the person you want to be. And remember, as we honor Martin Luther King Jr. and his unwavering commitment to justice, let us take inspiration from his life and his work. Let his courage remind us that standing for virtue, even when it's unpopular, is the path of the true Stoic. As we come to the end of this reflection, I want you to take a moment and think about everything we've discussed today. We've looked at the incredible example set by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and how his unwavering commitment to justice, even in the face of adversity, mirrors the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Dr. King showed us that standing for what's right, even when the world pushes back, is not just an act of bravery. It's an act of deep integrity. And Stoicism, at its core, teaches us to live by the same principles, choosing virtue over approval, acting according to what is right rather than what is popular, and remaining steadfast in our values no matter the external pressures. Now, I want to ask you, what will you do today to stand for virtue? Where in your life can you choose wisdom over popularity, courage over comfort, justice over convenience, and temperance over impulse? The Stoic teachings offer us a timeless guide, not just for grand moments of moral courage, but for the small, everyday decisions that define who we are and who we become. As you go through your day, I encourage you to reflect on one decision you can make that aligns with the virtues we've talked about today. Maybe it's speaking out when you normally stay quiet, or choosing to act with integrity when everyone else is going along with the crowd. That is how you build the strength of character that leads to lasting impact, not just for yourself, but for the people around you. Remember, life is full of challenges that will test our courage and our principles, but each challenge is an opportunity to practice the Stoic virtues and to act in ways that align with our highest values. Let the example of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. inspire you, but also let the wisdom of Stoicism remind you that you have the power to stand for what is right, regardless of the pressure around you. So, as we conclude, I want to leave you with this challenge. Find one moment today where you can stand for virtue. Whether it's in a conversation, a decision, or how you handle a difficult situation, remember that the right thing to do is almost never the easy thing to do. Be courageous, be wise, be just, and practice temperance. Let these virtues guide you, just as they guided the great leaders of history. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you can continue this journey of growth and self-improvement with us. We need more people in the world who will stand for what is right. Even when it's difficult, if you found value in this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Let's continue this conversation. Let's all challenge ourselves to be the change we want to see in the world. Thank you for being part of this journey. Until next time, remember, what we do matters.